We usually think of school as this one-size-fits-all system, right? But what if it wasn't? Today, we're going to explore a totally different educational philosophy, one that puts the student, not the curriculum, right at the center. And we'll do this by breaking down the model from a company called Centric Learning.
So let's just kick things off with that really fundamental question. Is the traditional classroom with its single pace and standardized tests truly built to serve the unique needs of every single learner out there? This is the core problem that alternative education models are really trying to tackle.
And that's where this whole idea of a new way to learn comes in. It's a philosophy that's all about, as Centric Learning puts it, enriching the human experience. It's about creating an educational environment that adapts to the student, instead of forcing the student to adapt to it.
So what does this new approach actually look like? Well, it's really built on two main pillars. First, you've got project-based learning, where students learn by doing actual hands-on projects. And second, there's competency-based assessment. That just means you're graded on mastering a skill, not just on a letter grade. It's a huge shift from what you can memorize to how you can apply what you know.
Okay, so let's dig into that first pillar a little more. Project-based learning, or PBL for short. Why is it such a game changer for this model? Well, it's because it completely flips the goal of learning. It moves it away from just memorizing stuff for a test and towards applying knowledge for the long term, for the real world.
So what does that look like in practice? Well, instead of just reading a chapter about ancient Rome, a student might get tasked with designing and building a model of a Roman aqueduct. They're learning history, sure, but also engineering and physics, just by actually doing something, by creating, and by solving problems as they go.
And that's really the whole point here. This isn't just about acing the next exam. It's about getting students ready for what comes after graduation, whether that's a job, college, or even starting their own business. It's about building real, tangible skills and the confidence to use them out in the world.
All right, so that's the philosophy. But how does it actually work day-to-day for schools and students? Let's get into the platform itself and see how this all translates into actual tools and solutions.
So the platform itself is designed to be super flexible. If a student really thrives in a live, interactive setting, boom, there are scheduled classes for that. If they need to learn at their own pace because of, say, a job or other commitments, there are self-guided courses. And for anyone who needs a little extra help, things like credit recovery and one-on-one tutoring make sure nobody gets left behind.
And what's really cool is that the platform isn't just for students, it's also a powerful tool for educators. While students get features that help them with things like flexibility and self-mastery, teachers get access to data analytics and easier online grading to help them track how everyone's doing way more effectively.
And this really brings us to a key theme here: empowerment. This model isn't just about throwing content at a student who's all alone. No. It's designed to be a complete ecosystem that supports the students, their families, and their educators, all at the same time.
Think of it like this. Education is a whole ecosystem. The student is right there in the center, of course, but their success really depends on this strong, interconnected support system. Families and teachers are treated like active, essential partners in the learning journey, and the tech is built to keep everybody in the loop. So what this creates is a really tailored experience for everyone involved. Students get a learning environment that's actually built for the way they learn best, not just some boring, digitized classroom. And at the same time, educators get a powerful, cost-effective tool to help them engage those students and track their progress more efficiently. It's really meant to be a win-win. Okay, so we've covered the philosophy and the platform, but what about the results? Does it actually work? Let's take a look at the impact this approach has had, and we can see it in a few key numbers from over a decade of work.
First up, experience. We're not talking about some new idea that just popped up. This model has been in development and in practice for over 16 years. That's more than a decade and a half spent tweaking and perfecting this approach in real schools.
And all that experience has led to a massive library of content, over 1,600 unique project-based learning activities. This just shows you that the hands-on, application-first idea we talked about isn't just a small part of it. It's the absolute core of the curriculum.
And finally, here's the number that really matters most: the human impact. All of this work has served over 20,000 students. That is a huge number of individual lives and educational journeys that have been shaped by this different way of learning.
But what does that impact actually look like on the ground? This quote from a school director is great because it highlights two key things. Not only did they find a better method for education, but it also empowered students by showing them exactly what they need to work on to get better. That's that competency-based model in action right there. At the end of the day, it all comes down to this one core belief. Choice today propels opportunity tomorrow. The whole idea is that by giving students a say and the right tools to learn in a way that truly works for them, you're setting them up for way more success long after they've left school.
So we'll leave you with this question to think about. As we look to the future, could these kinds of project-based, student-focused models be the key to completely redefining what success even looks like for a new generation of learners? It's a pretty powerful idea to consider. Thanks for joining us for this explainer.